Happy Sunday and welcome to another amazing edition of Sunday Conversation with the Rileys, establishing effective communication through spiritual growth. My name is Gerald Riley, and I'm so happy today because guess what? I have my baby, my rib, my sweet thing with me today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back my wife.
I'm back, y'all.
Katasha Riley, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, listen, we're broadcasting from Columbus, Georgia, all the way to Eufaula, Alabama, and surrounding areas. Amen. Hey, listen, I have a special guest today. He's my homeboy. He's from Mobile. I'm from Pensacola. So you know what that means. We're across the bay, so we're neighbors. So welcome, Mr.
Listen, everyone, good afternoon. Happy Sunday. This is Dr. Rocky R. Marsh, Vice President of the River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce.
I'm sorry. I should have called him Dr. Rocky Marsh. I just called him a homeboy Rocky. I'm sorry. I thought we was on the panhandle.
See,
But
here
listen,
we go.
Listen. Today's Sunday conversation is entitled ARP, and that stands for American Rescue Plan. I'm going to say that again. Today's Sunday conversation is entitled ARP, American Rescue Plan. Now, let's go ahead and get into it, Dr. Rocky.
Well, this is where we at. Thank you for that intro.
Okay.
So first of all, the River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce, because one thing we want your listeners to know is a lot of people didn't even know there was a Black Chamber of Commerce here in the city. And not only are we here, we are in collaboration with other Black chambers across the state. We're actually part of a coalition of Black chambers. It's the Georgia Coalition of Black Chambers, and we're broken down into regions across the state. River Valley, being seated here in Columbus, Georgia, is region number 8. We cover Columbus and the surrounding 15 counties. So we're happy to be here to talk about this great opportunity. We're here to talk about money, talk about grants, and talk about prosperity for our minority and Black-owned businesses.
I love it, man. We have a lot of great information to get out to the surrounding area. So let's go ahead and get into the first question. What is the American Rescue Plan?
So if you remember, Columbus, Georgia offered this to small businesses who are reeling from the negative effects of COVID-19, having to restructure and whatever. Well, a lot of those businesses were not able to be serviced by the American Rescue Plan, at least how it was administered here in Columbus, Georgia. So through our collaboration with the Georgia Coalition of Black Chambers, River Valley, in connection with the other chambers across the state, were able to secure a $2 million grant from the state of Georgia. And that is what we are planning to roll out in the month of June throughout Columbus, Georgia, and the surrounding 15 counties.
Now, you said grant, so I assume that's something that we will not have to pay back?
Will not. Oh, man, say that again. We will not be paying this back, people. We will not be paying this back. So the cool thing is, all the monies from the COVID-19, from ARP, they're not exhausted. There's still some money on the table. And so by the luck and by collaboration with these other chambers, we were able to secure part of that $2 million specifically for our region. So while the state, through our collaboration, is a total of $2 million, here in the River Valley, we're going to be distributing about $80,000 throughout the area.
Oh, man, that is awesome. So let's talk about who is the grant designed for? Can anybody get the grant?
You know what? First of all, I'm glad this is Sunday conversation because this is exactly what it's for. I want to answer the question, but what we found is that a lot of businesses are still not back to where they were pre-COVID. They had to change their business model. They maybe had to close, had to move, had to restructure, lay some people off, and change their business model. And they're just still reeling from that. So by securing this loan, we are able to go back and reach back and support some of these businesses. So to answer your question, who is it for? It is for any legitimate business that was in operation in the state of Georgia prior to COVID. So let's say 2019, 2020, 2021, so long as they were in operation, they qualify for this grant.
Outstanding. Now let's talk about what if a business received AARP back in the day. So can they still apply for funding?
Absolutely, yes. And I'm glad you asked that question because gives us an opportunity to draw comparison. So yes, if you were a recipient of the past ARP here in Muskogee County, Columbus, Georgia, that does not preclude you, remove you, you are still eligible to apply for this grant. And one thing that we often get as the River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce is, are y'all the same thing as the other greater chamber? What's the difference? And I love answering that question because it gives us opportunity to have a conversation about what is the purpose of this chamber specifically. And our goal is not to compete with our greater chamber, is instead to be focused on specifically for our minority women-owned businesses here in Columbus. And our goal is to bring them up as much as they can and help them to grow and prosper.
Now, we don't want people that receive the grant to misappropriate the funds. So let's talk about what are some of the areas the funds can be used for?
So, no, excellent question. So a lot of things that is directly tied to how they may have been impacted by COVID-19. They may need to restructure. They may have to increase their marketing dollars to broaden their audience. They may have to hire new employees, because that was one thing a lot of business couldn't do. It takes money to onboard employees. It's not just paying a salary wage. For those who are in the HR world or truly in the backroom deals of business, there is a cost to bringing on employees. So it gives them an opportunity to rebrand if need be, purchase new equipment. Maybe they had to remodel, and maybe now they need something else to grow. So the goal of this grant is to bring these businesses back onto par with the other brother and sister businesses here in the city.
So you mean I can't get this ARP money and go buy new boots for the trail ride?
No, you cannot.
Okay, all right.
You cannot. Okay. If it's not part of the business model, you cannot.
I just want to emphasize that.
But if you find a good deal, let me know. I just want to share that out there in case you find that.
Okay, Doc. What we need to do to actually submit the application for this grant? I know some people have already experienced this, but for those that didn't get the opportunity and actually just been on edge to try to get their business back together, what do they need to do?
So great. Thank you, Ms. Rowley, because the hardest challenge of trying to support people is one, to reach them and then educate. So what we learned here in Columbus is a lot of businesses didn't know, couldn't be reached, didn't have the documentation. So we took those lessons learned and we are implementing them in how to reach these businesses. So number one is, how do they apply? How do they get informed? We are running a free orientation every Tuesday at the Cunningham Center at 5:30. Where we have a paid staff person to educate, deliver, and answer any questions that any business may have. And additionally, we have a second person on staff specifically to help you get your packet together, because this is the biggest challenge. You work all day, you manage people, you have to stock, you have to supply, you have to deal with issues, then you have to go home and deal with family. Some people are just do not have enough time to even do that and get their packs together. So our paid staff members specifically on board to help you apply for this grant.
Has the submission started yet?
It starts on Yes, it just started on Friday, actually. So it just started on Friday. So those who are able to apply, they still have to come through the orientation. So if they come to an orientation, they will get instructions on how to apply and what's needed. We do have a checklist, but we want to be able to answer questions to businesses so that they do not experience the frustration that many experienced during the Muskogee County, Columbus, Georgia application.
Now, Dr. Rocky, you said the Cunningham Center, but let our listeners know, where is the Cunningham Center located?
Absolutely. It is located on the campus of Columbus State University. The actual address is on Gentian Boulevard, but the Cunningham Center, the River Valley has a dedicated office specifically for this grant so that we have a dedicated space to service the business community. So if you Google CSU, the main campus of Gentian Boulevard, just across the street from the mall. We're in the Cunningham Center.
Now, is there a point of contact? Is there a number or an email?
It is an email, River Valley BCC Grants with an S at gmail.com. But I'll do you one even better. One thing we have been doing, we have a lot of resources, a lot of points of contact to reach out to the River Valley. We have a website, we have Facebook, we have email, and it can get kind of hard to kind of keep track of everything and where to reach out to us. So we created a link tree where all of our contacts are on this one thing. So for your listeners, if they use that Linktree app, if they Google River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce, it has everything. But if you find out our website, rivervalleybcc.org, or our Facebook page, River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce, it has both the website, the email, and our Linktree that has all our points of contact.
Outstanding. Hey, listen, just in case you're joining us for Sunday Conversation with the Rileys, we're in the studio live with Dr. Rocky Marsh, and we're talking about ARP. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about money, so pay attention. We have a lot of great information to get out in a short time, so get your pencil and paper and pay attention. We got something good for you. Okay, let's talk about this, Dr. Rocky. Is there a deadline for the application?
Actually, no. And that's the great part. So this bill under the past administration, it does have an expiration date, October of 26. Now, that doesn't mean that River Valley has that money. It just means these funds are federally tagged. They're color coded and they have to be expired or returned by that date. But have no fear. We plan to expend every single penny that we have coming to the community.
But once it's gone, it's gone. So
Once it's gone, it's
first
gone.
come, first serve, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So it would behoove them to go ahead and put their application in as soon as possible.
Go ahead and come to our orientation, get the information packet, and then start getting your packet together. Absolutely.
Outstanding. Now, Doc, is there a maximum amount that a person or business can receive?
So no, but that's a great question, because the good thing about this grant is it did not have some of the restrictions that we saw with, or caps that we saw when it was administered here in Columbus, Georgia. So there's no necessarily cap. We have about $80,000 that we can expend. And when we issue out the grants, there's nothing to say we have to cap you at a certain amount or the minimum amount. Now, we're going to try to distribute as much money to the widest dissemination possible. But no, there is no regulation to cap on how much a business can receive.
Now, can you apply for every business that you have? And what about nonprofit organizations?
No, absolutely amazing question. We want to focus on businesses. So this funding is for for-profit businesses only. Now, to the question of if you have multiple business, so long as each business was operated in the state of Georgia and registered within the state of Georgia. So long as it meets those, yes, it can begin to qualify for this loan. That's correct.
Awesome. Now, this is kind of like a personal question, Dr. Rocky. What inspired you to get in this lane to help other businesses?
Well, one, I serve as the vice president under Ms. Stephanie Quiones of the River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce, and she has done a great job of leading this organization. I serve as a vice president of membership engagement. So my goal is to make the experience of being part of the chamber as the best possible for our business members. The goal of being the point of contact lead or liaison to the Georgia Coalition of Black Chambers has just been a labor of love. When you're able to connect the dots and see something grand come to your area, you get motivated to keep going and keep going. We have been working diligently on this grant, preparing, sending in documentation for the last 18 months. So we are overly ecstatic to see this finally come to fruition and be able to hand out that first check to that business who apply. And just to add on to that, we are doing a grand kickoff event on Juneteenth of all days. So on Thursday, June the 19th at the Civic Center in the Hospitality Suite at 6 p.m., we invite all of your listeners to come. It's a free event. We're going to have the official press release where we unveil the exact amount and the check that we're planning to disseminate to the area.
And for all those that know Dr. Rocky, know that he's his own hype man.
I can't help it. Listen, when there's work to do, somebody got to get it done.
Now, will refreshments be provided?
Absolutely. The refreshments will be provided. There's nothing you have to pay.
We coming.
So, and I add something else to your listeners. So one of the first things I think I mentioned before is when you're trying to help our community, we want to know where they are. So we took an initiative that was a lead up to this press release we are creating a Black-owned business directory, not just for Columbus, but for the entire River Valley. The purpose of this is that when we have future loans, future opportunities, we get these opportunities all the time. The biggest challenge is we don't know who to tell, who to offer it to, who to extend it to. By maintaining this directory, we know that if we have something that comes for contractors, come for electricians, that come for plumbers, we can reach out with one directory and filter down to those businesses that are registered and extend whatever offer it is. Now, this is a free directory, free directory where we are going to load all of these businesses on our website. But on Thursday, June the 19th, for this grandiose press release, we're going to unveil the first hardbook copy for everybody, free of charge.
That's outstanding. Now, Dr. Rocky, let's talk about some of the requirements to apply for this grant.
So, and I'm going to default back to the first thing, be existent, registered with the state of Georgia, 2019, 2020.
What if I started my business in 2019?
That qualifies.
Okay.
And that's why, and it's that's a fixed point. That's why we say 2019, because when COVID hit, you had to be existing. So that's why we start with that year, 2019.
Outstanding. Now, what about, do I have to have a valid license?
You do.
Photo ID or license?
You do have to have something government issued, whether it be a passport, federal, state, basically your driver license, but whatever is a government issued ID.
What if I'm a sole proprietor? It's just me in the business.
Yeah, that qualifies.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you would not believe how many businesses that represent. Small businesses, sole proprietor, or a small business that have employees less than 10, less than 15, less than 20, that make up the predominant proportion of all the River Valley Black Chamber business members.
I felt like you looked at me strange when I asked that sole proprietor, Doc. But it's okay, though. I'm going to talk to you later on after the interview.
See, y'all are hearing something right now. I don't know what he about to ask me. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to have to follow that up.
I have a question. What about those that do not have a Georgia business license, but they have a LLC, a Georgia's LLC?
The simple point is it's not eligible.
Okay.
If it's not, and this was the main sticking point, it must be registered with the state of Georgia. As a matter of fact, when you get your documentation, they ask for certification, where you have to go to the state website and download your registration, just so they can prove that you were in operation and registered with the state of Georgia.
Okay, now, Doc, let's assume that we have all our paperwork in, all the necessary documentation. Once we turn everything in, how long is the turnaround point before I receive my? Is it one check or is it a couple of checks?
No, we are giving everything in one check.
Okay, so it's not a drop or a drop.
No. We nobody got time for that.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, it took us 18 months. COVID is how many years ago? Yeah. And now we still have this opportunity, and it still took us 18 months to get here. So we do not want to add any additional time for waiting for a business who's already still reeling back. So
Right.
when we do this application, which will be done by a JOT form, very simple. You can upload your forms. We have a staff person specifically on the team to help you upload and get all the correct and accurate documents. Once it is uploaded, we're going to instantly get reviewed by the River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce Executive Committee. We hope to make a recommendation and send it off for award. Now, to the question of how long does it take, that I don't know because we haven't done it yet.
Okay.
So
that's fair. That's fair.
So once we get the first two, we'll know, okay, it's been averaging, a couple of days, a week or whatever, but we definitely, whatever your award, if your award is $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, we want you to get that all in one lump sum.
Outstanding. Hey, listen, just in case you're joining us for Sunday Conversation with the Rileys, we're in the studio with Dr. Rocky Marsh, and we're talking about ARP. And I think this is a very important subject and conversation to talk about in Columbus, Georgia, and the surrounding areas. So I heard you say something about the River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce. So let's talk about that. How can we join that great organization?
Oh, great question. That's what we really want people. One, we're going to have a membership table on Juneteenth at the Civic Center. But any of our links on any of our platforms, websites, social media, Linktree, it has how to join. When you click to join, there may be 10 to 15 questions to join the River Valley. We have tiered levels. If you're a small business with 10 or less members, employees, or a business with 10 or more, but very affordable. And the goal of membership is so that when we have these opportunities, we prioritize our members and get them whatever they need. So this is the cost and the benefit of being a member of a River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce.
Now, I don't know if we asked this question, but is there a minimum or a maximum amount that you receive, or is just...
No, there's not. It's not. We're going to review the application, and based off what do you identify as your needs, then award or make a recommendation based off that, based off size, based off whatever you put in your application. That's what is going to be the basis for the recommendation.
Okay, let's talk about some of the things that the River Valley Black Chamber offers.
Mm-hmm. So the main thing that we offer is, and this is something that does not get talked about in any business, is relationships. The River Valley Black Chamber of Commerce, and this is, let me revert back to what I was speaking about before, is what is the difference between this chamber and other chambers? Our goal is to develop these relationships for the benefit of our members. We, as the chamber, maintain a relationship with the city government, with other local officials, so that we can get these opportunities out to our business members. So that is one of the benefits. Second, we do a lot of education and training. A lot of people are in business, but they are not reaching their full potential because they don't have all the information and all the resources. And then number three, access to resources. By being a consolidated body, we are stronger. And by being stronger, we're more capable and adapt to go and get access to certain resources that many businesses don't need, such as, just like now, we are part of the Georgia Coalition of Black Chambers. And through our collaboration with all of these chambers, we have successfully secured this $2 million grant throughout the state of Georgia.
Okay, so it's a $2 million grant for the state of Georgia?
For the state, for all of the chambers across the state. So the state is broken down to 12 regions within the Georgia Coalition of Black Chambers. River Valley, we're region number 8. So here in our small part of the state, we're covering, even though we're headquartered here in Columbus, Georgia, our coverage area is the local 15 other counties. And that is our coverage area. So $2 million for the whole state. Our small pie is about 80,000.
So, and that's what I was visioning, like a pie. Our slice of pie is $80,000.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So that's $80,000 for Columbus, Georgia, and the surrounding area.
That's correct.
Okay, then. Okay, cool. Okay, now let's talk about the things that you can't do with the money.
So
because I think that
I feel like as soon as you tell people what you can't do, people start thinking about it, what you can't do.
Yeah, I think.
You can't invest it.
Okay.
You can't invest it.
Severance pay.
Look, y'all, we up here. I done gave them the all the paperwork, and they asked me the questions.
Well, you can't use it for severance pay.
You cannot use it for severance pay.
You cannot invest it.
Cannot invest it, and you cannot duplicate benefits. Oh, and no political activity. That's important and ensures covered damages.
So let's talk about no political activity.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Basically, you can't donate it to somebody's campaign or donate it to a partisan cause. Other things in the community, yes, but it's mainly for the business. If you identify that we lost business or we had to change buildings and had to purchase new equipment, then that's what it's for. And that's what we want to focus on for business purposes only.
Okay, Doc, let's circle back to what date is the class? What's the location of the class? And what name some of the point of contacts for the class?
Okay. So who, what, when, where, 5 W's. I love it. So where? Columbus State University main campus, specifically the Cunningham Center. When? Tuesday, every Tuesday. Time, 5:30 p.m.
Starting what Tuesday?
Every Tuesday, right now.
Now.
We've already started. Tuesday, 5:30. And the points of contact is any of the River Valley points of contact that I've mentioned thus far. Our website, our email, our link tree. And we specifically have a dedicated email. And I will share this. We do have a dedicated email specifically for the grant process. And for those of your listeners, River Valley BCC grants with an S at gmail.com. That goes specifically to the program administrator who can give you immediate direct answers to your questions.
Outstanding. Now, in closing, Dr. Rocky, is there anything that maybe we didn't cover that you would like to say to the listening audience?
Well, absolutely. So I want your listeners in the business community to know that there is a chamber out there for us, by us, doing stuff for us. None of our executive staff is paid. We're doing this at pro bono, all volunteer staff, but it truly is a labor of love, and we are absolutely enjoying it. But there is a mission that needs to be done, that should be done. There are many models that we can look at as a model for success. Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, Baltimore, they all have these thriving Black economic chambers that are doing well for the community, because it's not just about doing stuff for Black-owned, minority-owned businesses,
right?
Because a good tide rises all ships. One thing we hope to accomplish through this grant is to increase community circulation of money from Black-owned business to Black-owned businesses, and through that increased circulation, we hope to increase all the prosperity for all Black-owned businesses in the local area.